Samuel had a master's degree, but washed dishes. Chidi was an undergraduate, but was being groomed for management. The difference wasn't skill, it was the apology. Samuel had been in London for 8 months when he finally got the job at Rosewood, a busy restaurant in Shoreditch. He'd left Accra with a business degree and had just started his MSc in International Business at London Metropolitan University. The student visa allowed him 20 hours of work per week, and he needed every pound to cover rent in a shared flat in Stratford. He told himself it was temporary. Just wash dishes for a year, get the degree, then the real career would begin. The first few weeks in London had been bruising. When he'd called to set up his bank account, the woman on the phone kept saying, "Pardon? Pardon? Sorry, could you repeat that?" Until Samuel found himself speaking so slowly he felt like a child. After he hung up, he sat on his bed staring at his phone. Is my English really that bad? The shock settled in his chest like a weight. He'd studied in English his entire life. He had an A in his IELTS, but those 3 pardons made him question everything. When he had to repeat his name at the university office 3 times, when strangers looked annoyed at his questions, that shock hardened into certainty. My accent is a problem. I am the problem. By the time he started at Rosewood, the belief had settled into him like sediment. The kitchen was a mix of people from everywhere: a Polish sous chef, a Spanish pastry cook, 2 Bangladeshi line cooks, and Marco, the head chef from Italy. Samuel was one of 3 Africans. The others were Abdi from Somalia and Chidi from Nigeria. On his first shift, nerves got the better of him. "I'm not very fast with these machines," Samuel announced loudly. "Back home, we didn't have equipment like this, and sorry if you can't understand me sometimes. My English isn't very good. I know my accent is heavy." Even as he said it, part of him wondered if it was true, but the doubt had already taken root, and apologizing felt safer than risking annoyance. Chidi, the Nigerian, was different. He was only in his 2nd year studying business management at Westminster, but from day 1 he carried himself differently. His accent was just as thick as Samuel's, maybe thicker, but he never mentioned it, never apologized for it. "Yeah, I'm at Westminster, business management. Got 2 years left, but I'm learning a lot here about operations, supply chain, customer service. It all connects, you know." When Marco sometimes had to ask him to repeat something, Chidi just repeated it louder, clearer, without apology. When a supplier on the phone asked, "Sorry, what?" Chidi simply said it again, as if it was the most natural thing in the world. Samuel watched this with confusion and envy. How does he do that? Doesn't he feel what I feel? Over the following weeks, Samuel kept talking. "My English isn't good enough for front-of-house work," he'd announce, even though he'd written a 10,000-word dissertation proposal last week. "I'm clumsy with the knives. Sorry if I'm slow to understand instructions. English isn't my first language." He said these things as if they were simple facts, but each time he felt a twist of shame, followed by a strange relief. At least if I say it first, they can't surprise me with it. But he was building a case against himself. Meanwhile, Chidi made mistakes, plenty of them. He burned rice, over-salted soup, once dropped an entire tray of prepped vegetables. His knife work was sloppy, his timing was off. But when Marco corrected him, Chidi just nodded. "Got it, chef, won't happen again." And he'd practice during quiet moments. When the Polish sous chef Kasia asked Chidi about his background during a break, he said, "I'm studying business at Westminster. I want to understand how restaurants work from the ground up. Real-world experience, you know." His accent was thick. She asked him to repeat one phrase. He did, without apology, and she nodded. When Kasia asked Samuel the same question, he said, "Oh, I'm doing a master's actually, postgraduate. This is just to pay bills. I'm really overqualified to be here, and sorry about my English. I know it's not great. My accent makes things difficult." Kassia's expression shifted slightly. "Your English is fine," she said, but something in her tone had changed. Samuel didn't notice. She's just being polite, he thought. Marco said nothing, but he watched both of them. By the third month, something had changed. When Marco needed help during dinner rush, he called on Chidi, despite his errors. When a position opened for commis chef, Marco asked Chidi if he'd be interested. When the restaurant owner, Mr. Peterson, visited and asked about talented young people, Marco mentioned Chidi's name. "He's sharp," Marco told Peterson. "Still learning, makes mistakes, but he asks good questions, watches everything. I think he could be something." Peterson took note. He started greeting Chidi by name, asking how his studies were going. Chidi spoke with confidence, his Nigerian accent clear and unapologetic, and Peterson listened. Samuel watched from the dish station, his hands raw from degreaser, his mind trying to understand. He was the one with the postgraduate degree. He rarely made the mistakes Chidi made. He was actually better at the technical work. Yet Chidi was being groomed while Samuel scrubbed pots. The confusion turned bitter. What am I doing wrong? One night after service, Samuel approached Marco by the back entrance. "Why does everyone else move forward, but I'm still here?" The words came out with more emotion than intended, frustration mixed with genuine bewilderment. Marco gestured to vegetables Samuel had prepped, uniform cuts, properly done. "What do you see when you look at this? The carrots that aren't exactly the same size? The onions that took me too long?" Samuel studied Marco for a long moment. "You have a master's degree, yes?" "Yes, I'm finishing my MSc in international business." "And Chidi?" "He's only doing undergraduate, second year." "So you're more educated?" "Yes." "And you make fewer mistakes than him in the kitchen?" "Yes, he burns things, he's slow, he dropped a whole tray last week." "Then tell me something," Marco said, his voice steady. "Why does the more educated man, the more skilled man, spend 3 months telling everyone in my kitchen that he can't do things, while the less experienced one moves forward?" Samuel opened his mouth, then closed it. "When you arrived, I saw something," Marco continued. "You showed up early, you stayed late, you worked hard. Your work is actually better than Chidi's in many ways. But every single day you announce that you are not good enough. I'm slow, I'm clumsy, my English is bad, sorry about my accent, I can't do this, I'm overqualified. So now when I think of Samuel, I think not committed, doesn't want to be here, always has an excuse, can't communicate properly." Samuel felt something crack inside. "But I was just being honest." Marco gestured toward the kitchen where Chidi was helping Kassia prep for tomorrow. "Chidi makes more mistakes than you. His knife skills aren't great. He knows less about kitchens. His accent is just as thick as yours, maybe thicker. You think I don't have to ask him to repeat things? But he never apologizes for it. He just speaks and expects to be understood. So I listen, and so does everyone else." Marco crossed his arms. "You want to know something? My English when I came here 15 years ago, terrible, much worse than yours. Heavy Italian accent, people made fun of me. You know what I learned? The moment you apologize for your accent, you tell people it's acceptable to discriminate against you for it. You give them permission." Samuel felt his throat tighten. "But people kept saying pardon when I called places?" "So?" Marco's eyes were sharp. "They say pardon to me too, still, after 15 years. You know what I do? I repeat myself. I don't apologize. It's not my fault they need to hear twice." He gestured toward the kitchen. "We're in London. Half this city speaks English as a second language. Your accent is not a weakness. It's just where you're from. But you took a few pardons and decided you were broken, and now everyone believes you." Samuel felt tears prickling. "I decided I was broken." "But my degree? Your degree is invisible. Your accent people can hear. Your skin they can see. These things you cannot change, but you don't need to change them. You don't owe anyone an apology for being Ghanaian. It's not your fault.
So why are you accepting it as a weakness? He pushed off from the wall. You know what I see when I look at Chidi? Someone who believes he belongs here. His accent is thick, his English has mistakes, he's young, he's Nigerian, he has no experience, and he makes more mistakes than you. But he walks into my kitchen like he has a right to be here, like his talent is worth more than his accent. And you know what? It is. That's why people listen to him.
Samuel stood silent, feeling exposed. You think Manchester United apologizes because they hire players who need translators? Marco continued. You think they care about accent when they're buying talent? They buy the skill. They work around the language because the talent is what matters. But you have to believe your talent matters first. He turned back toward the kitchen. Listen, London is hard. This industry is hard. People will find reasons to keep you down without your help. Your skill, your confidence, your reputation, these you control. Don't hand people reasons to dismiss you. They have enough ammunition already. Don't load the gun for them. His voice softened. Mr. Peterson is opening a new restaurant in Canary Wharf next year, fine dining. He's looking for management trainees. He asked me last week if I knew anyone promising. Samuel's heart raced. That's exactly what I've been studying for. International business, operations management, hospitality analysis. I know. I've heard you talk about your degree many times. Marco's eyes held his. I recommended Chidi. The words hit like a physical blow. But he makes so many mistakes. Mr. Peterson didn't ask me for the most qualified person on paper. He asked for someone promising, someone who wants to be here, someone who speaks with confidence, even with an accent, even when they're still learning. He paused. Chidi has an accent and makes mistakes. You have an apology. See the difference? Samuel felt something break inside. He'd been so certain his qualifications would speak for themselves, that if he managed expectations by acknowledging his weaknesses first, people would appreciate his honesty. Instead, he'd written himself out of the story. That night, Samuel lay in his cramped room staring at the ceiling. He thought about Chidi, who had less education, the same lack of UK experience, the same foreign status, the same thick accent, and actually made more mistakes. The only difference was the story each of them told. Chidi said, I'm here to learn. I'm building something. Samuel said, sorry for my accent. Sorry for being here. Sorry for taking up space. One story opened doors, the other closed them. He'd let those pardons define him. He'd accepted that his accent was a flaw when it was simply evidence of the 3 languages he spoke, the country he came from, the courage it took to be here. He'd been apologizing for being Ghanaian, for being African, for being foreign, and no one had asked him to. For the first time since arriving in London, he let himself cry, not from sadness, but from recognition. He'd been carrying this burden for months, and he was exhausted. But beneath the exhaustion, something else stirred, a quiet anger. Not at Marco or the people who'd said pardon, but at himself, for believing them. No more. The next day, Samuel showed up differently. When Marco gave instructions and asked, "You understand?" Samuel said, "Yes, chef," without the preamble of apologies. It felt strange, vulnerable, but also lighter. When he called a supplier and they said pardon, he felt that old shock try to surface, but this time he pushed past it. He simply repeated himself clearly. The supplier said, "Got it, thanks," and moved on. No judgment, just a normal interaction. Weeks passed. His movements became more confident. He started noticing inefficiencies in how supplies were stored, how shifts were scheduled. Instead of apologizing for speaking up, he mentioned them casually. "Marco," he said one afternoon, his Ghanaian accent clear and steady, "I've been thinking about the prep schedule.
If we moved some of the vegetable prep to the morning crew, the evening rush would be smoother. I could draft a proposal if you'd like. Marco looked at him with recognition. Yeah, do that. Samuel graduated in June with distinction. His dissertation on talent management earned the highest marks in his cohort. But by then, something else had shifted. Mr. Peterson had started noticing him, started asking his opinion, started seeing not someone apologizing for taking up space, but someone who understood the business and who spoke about it with confidence, accent and all. When the management trainee position was posted, Samuel applied. So did Chidi. They both got interviews, they both got positions. The restaurant group was expanding faster than expected. But Samuel never forgot the lesson, or the pain of learning it. Your accent is not your weakness. Your nationality is not your weakness. These are simply facts about you, neutral as your height. In a foreign country, people will push your differences onto you like weaknesses. They will make you feel like you owe them an apology for not being here. But you don't. The moment you apologize for your accent, you tell people it's acceptable to discriminate against you for it. You give them permission. Your qualifications mean nothing if you spend all your time explaining why you're not good enough. The most educated person in the room isn't always the one who succeeds. It's the one who refuses to apologize for taking up space. You have to believe your skill matters first. You have to walk into rooms like you belong there, accent and all. Because you do. People will find reasons to keep you down without your help. They have enough ammunition already. Don't load the gun for them. I am Obed Ampong. If this story touched you, share it with others who need to hear it.